always, when people contact me about supervision, I ask, like, what are you doing with your life right now in terms of your vocation? Because some people, they're ambitious, or they want to fast track and they want to graduate and they want to, get ready to take their test, and they may not be able to work in their field yet. And I always try to encourage them, like, if you're not actually working in your field, can you do something that's giving you the experience? Because that test is not true false. It's not what is completely right or what is completely wrong. It's a very gray area test. And I think you do better if you're already in the practice. It gives you a better perspective, because it's going to ask you a question. You got four, options there, but the options are, what is the best of the four?
Yeah.
And you got to take some of the subjectivity, not some of it. You have to take your subjectivity out of it and be really clinically focused with your thinking. And that's hard to do if you're not practicing that on a consistent basis. That being said, so what's your thoughts on diagnosing people?
So I have two things. Because when I started at PCS, that's one of probably the areas that caused me the most anxiety, because I was constantly in your office saying, I think it's this, and is it this, or whatever. And so I see the beauty. So I have a love-hate relationship with diagnosis. I see the beauty in it, in being able to understand maybe where people are in their lives, or especially like I have worked with my first client that had selective mutism. That would have never crossed my path if I hadn't had someone like that and been able to figure out what was going on by the DSM. So I felt like there was really some value, because we were able to shift and do some things in order to help aid her in that situation. Like, let's make this make sense. How does somebody go from talking every day, and then they get in this environment and they have no words, they say nothing, like what's going on with that? But then there's the other piece of that where I'm like, everybody doesn't fit in this category, or you have people and then they internalize and become whatever it is that they say is on paper. Mind you, my thoughts of insurance is us having to have a diagnosis to treat people. So in of itself, I don't like diagnosis, just because of our healthcare system and how we operate. People have to have a problem, which says that therapy is only beneficial if you got problems in your life, right? You got to meet one of these criteria for me to come in and say, we are of value to aid you. And we both know that therapy is not just a problem thing. Therapy is something that should happen regardless of problem or not. And so I think, it goes back to this medical model that we live in, where something has to be wrong in order for us to treat. And I'm using the word treat, right? Versus, hey, you're coming in here and I'm working in partnership with you because there's some areas in growth that you want to have in your life. It just shifts that language from, I want to be in partnership with the people who come in and sit on this couch and know that I'm not the person that takes ownership of your life. This is you taking ownership of your life, and I'm here to support you along the way with the choices that you come up is the best fit for you. Not, hey, let's come in here and let me tell you what you are, right? And let me develop this treatment plan. Yes, no. And so I just think, diagnosis in that level, we could be so better off as people, as a country, if we shift our language and how we see things. If things weren't tailored to a diagnosis, and this is how we have to get money through insurance to see people. If I didn't even have to deal with the insurance, because I don't feel like the insurance can pay me what I'm worth to help people.
Okay, so let's pause, because now you're going somewhere else. Let's come back. But all right, I definitely agree with that, right? We've had those discussions before, because you were coming to me often like, well, right? And my perspective is the same for the most part. Like, I don't think that we as treatment providers need to give someone a diagnosis. And so when people come in, I always tell them, like, okay, if they're an insurance client, that's going to be a discussion anyway. Like, this is what, the criteria you are fitting matches this diagnosis, but I'm telling you this for two reasons. One, your insurance company is going to require it. They're not going to pay for your services without you having a diagnosis. And two, this for you gives you a framework of this is what may be happening for me. This is an overarching issue for me, just like when you go to the medical doctor, and we're going to set goals and objectives to try to reduce whatever this issue is causing in your life. But then we've also talked about this too, is the love, hate, or the good, bad part about these insurance companies needing it, because you and I have both left corporate or nonprofit or community mental health. We've left places where you have to have a diagnosis, and we've gone into private practice. And you understand as a business owner now that, hey, and from the insurance company's perspective, right? If you're telling me, I'm the insurance company, you are the client, you are telling me that I need to pay for you to be treated for something, I'm not going to just keep shelling out this. That's what happens. That's why they've cracked down so much, right? In community mental health. You got people who are going for years and years and years and years, and they do need it. But the insurance company, from the money perspective, is like, why should I keep shelling out money? And one, you can't tell me what's wrong. So that's the diagnosis part. Two, you're not going to tell me how you're going to help this person fix it. That's the treatment plan part. So I'm just going to keep taking money and shelling out and shelling out. So from a business perspective, like, I get it.
I still don't get it, because my thing is that you can come in one day, right? So I think of diagnosis as something that is constantly evolving, right? So even if I come in here and I present with depression, right, does not mean that there's something that is more complex. Or if I have these areas where we know that we can see people and they come in here and things are really tough, and then things level out, right? But I want maintenance. So maybe I'm not seeing you week to week, but I move from me seeing you 4 times a month to only once a month. But then something triggers in my life and I need to see you more frequently. And I got somebody telling me like, oh, this ain't working because I feel like
it's a double-edged sword.
And then how many people pay in their insurance monthly and don't go to a healthcare provider? So that's my part. It's like, just like my car. I pay you every month. I go 6 months out of the year with no accidents at all. The moment I have something, I don't want to pay you that deductible. I just want you to fix my stuff.
So then that also, though, takes us back to what we said before. You are paying for healthcare service. If you choose to only use it after something has happened, when you're talking about like a car, that's it's fruit, it's apples to oranges, though, right?
Yeah.
A car is different a little bit, because even with a vehicle, I'm sure your husband is going to tell you, don't wait until the tires are all hit.
Maintenance and check, right? Yes.
Before. So I need to come why are we not doing that, for mental and physical health? But we could be doing that all day.
Yes, we could.
What we want to look at now, though, is, or what I wanted to talk to you about as well, is how we have gone from understanding or seeing what community mental health looks like, and even like some corporate level community, not community, some corporate level mental health work, and deciding I've had enough of that. It's great experience, right? You probably touched any and every type of diagnosis, a disorder, and decided I want to work for myself. Tell me about your decision-making process or your thoughts behind, I need to be working for myself. I want my own private practice, and this is what I want it to look like. And we keep it in mind. I don't think I mentioned this before. We touched on it a little bit. With you being an LPC and an MHSP, that allows you to panel with different insurance companies, just like I can as an LCSW, but with an LPC. Medicare, you can't panel with. I'm not sure who else.
Yeah, Medicare for sure we can't. At one point it was TRICARE, but that's no longer an issue. But definitely we can't see anybody who is on Medicare, which is a whole nother population, right? So you're basically saying this group of individuals can only access services from this one set of providers. And I'm not sure if it's anybody else more than LCSW. So I don't know if there's LMFTs or whatever, but they're pretty much saying that only these good old social workers or have the credential enough to see individuals who are on Medicare? Or you think, just most people who are on Medicare are older people, right? And so it's like,
And the disabled.
And the disabled. So we think about quality of life and changes and life transitions. I mean, last time I checked, that's what my whole degree almost covered, transitioning in part. So I just think it's interesting to have those that are in power, which is why you should vote and be a part of these boards, and make sure that you're advocating for yourself and your license and the organizations that you're a part of. And if you're not a member of organizations, what is it,
NASW
or ACA, then we got a problem, because this is what you need to be a part of in order to seek change, because you need to go out there and change policy. Right. Something else. But I don't know, what are you asking?
We were talking about you moving into private practice.
So yes, so let's just go there. COVID. Whew. COVID was
a blessing and a curse.
Yes, it was a blessing and a curse. I think working, for those of you who don't know, I worked in community mental health, like Narisha said. I actually was running a clinic and seeing clients, also running a grant program, and it was exhausting. And so we know that Tennessee operates, in most clinical or mental health spots, operate for fee for services. That's how we get paid. We only are getting paid if there's a service. I feel like there's a glitch. It's a glitch. There's a service being offered for insurance. And so it caused a lot of stress within the agency, just with the amount that we had to work and COVID and all these policies. And it got to the point where
people not being able to come in because of COVID. And like, I don't think people know this outside of our profession, but like, whether you were an LPC or LMSW or element, whatever, if you were not a medical provider, we could not bill to see somebody via telehealth or video. They had to be face to face.
Yeah. So that put a lot of pressure, right? So we, as the agency, there's a shift in figuring out how do we still give people the help that they need in a time that is really foreign to everybody, right? More than ever. And then how do we ensure that we're able to be productive and still get paid? And so anyway, to say all of that, my blood pressure was way too high. I was working way too hard. And my husband politely told me I didn't have to. He ain't said nothing but a word. So therefore, yes, therefore, and I am fortunate enough to be able to be in that position where we could make such a change, where he said, if you want to go shift and do something different, you can. And so I did. And what I didn't realize is that Senator Rise was something that was birthed by my sister, and it was her concept. And in Texas, and I told her I would help. And that just led me into being a co-owner of her vision, which now we have the 2 locations here in Texas and in Tennessee.
What part of Texas?
Arlington, Texas.
Okay.
Yep.
And here in Memphis, Tennessee.
I'm just going to say I cover Shelby County, but yeah, all of that.
And the surrounding counties.
Yes, here in Memphis. It really birthed I feel like for me, it pushed me out of my comfort zone, because it was always something on my list. But I can tell you, if it wasn't for my sister reaching out and asking, hey, would you come join me in this process, I couldn't say I would be here today. I know I would be here, but I wouldn't say that, hey, me leaving my job and going and stepping out on faith and saying, all right, I ain't worried about this paycheck or insurance or all the things that keep us kind of locked into being places where we know we should have been gone a long time ago, but we scared, right? I don't think I would have been here if it wasn't for that,
So shout out to Nicole.
Yep, shout out to Nicole.
And Center to Rise in Arlington, Texas is where she's running things. Yes. Okay, so Center to Rise, as a private practice, you guys offer individual therapy, family therapy. What else?
We do it all. So the concept of Center to Rise is to be this one-stop shop, right? So my sister's vision was really to incorporate wellness. Wellness is the foundation of everything that we do. And she wanted people to come in here and be able to have meditation and yoga and sound wave and all these wellness components as the forefront of therapy or this process, and then therapy kind of be the back end, kind of like a la carte. You can come into a spa and I want to get a massage. I can go get a massage. Oh, you want to do yoga today? You can go in there and join this yoga class. You can have therapy enroll into yoga. You can have therapy and go get a massage. You can have therapy and then go get a yoni steam if you wanted to. Like, you can have all the things that you want in our Texas location. Okay.
Clear, it's the Texas location.
Yeah, so that was where it was birthed, where we have a building that you can literally come in and access all these things. She wanted to be a welcoming spot where people were just coming in, and therapy was a component of that. And I bought into that because one of the things that we do as therapists a lot is we try to incorporate these wellness life tips into your everyday life. And what I found is that I can tell you, hey, go home and try this meditation, and people gonna walk right out this door and they're not gonna do it. And so to be able to have the time in your own practice where I can say, you know what, we're doing therapy, but guess what? In this session today, we gonna practice. So here in Tennessee, it looks a little different because we have the opportunity to practice more. Whereas I feel like in clinical mental health, because we are so much like this, that we don't have that time to really invest in the preparation for individualized treatment for the clients that we're partnering with, because we don't have the time to do that. We back to back, we have to see 10 people a day, which is a lot, mind you, and not good for our mental health, honestly.
Right. And something that I remind people though is it is strenuous, it's hard. Community mental health is stressful, but you're gonna get so many skills from that. So some of us, that's our path, right? During
Yeah.
LMSW or that unlicensed path, you learn organizational skills, you learn time management, you learn stress management. Hopefully, you still working on your time management. Speaking of, before we get too far, I want to talk a little bit about couples and
Mhm.
your vision for that, and how you dragged me into something else that I absolutely love.
Okay, so this journey to private practice led me to somehow getting a lot of couples. Now, I'm just be honest. I did not like doing couples work. I did not want to do it. I felt like, because I have poor time management skills, that's one. But, it's a lot of work because it's individual therapy is already a lot of work. And now you got two people and you got to manage whatever is being brought through this door and all the things. And it's a lot of mental work. I found myself to love that, which led me to dragging Narisha into this idea of us doing our couples workshop, just because I love the amount of couples that come in, but I felt like these are things that we need to normalize that show up in, like, the challenges that show up in everybody's life, my life, your life, anybody that's in a relationship with anybody. There's some foundational skills that we need to have that will be helpful in that process. And so, yeah, I don't know. That's where we got to this couples workshop that we're doing monthly.
So our couples workshop, Gihon Counseling Solution, partners with Center to Rise. So Dr. Narisha Futrell and Christina Butler Tuggle.
Mm-hmm.
We initially decided we planned to do it monthly, but of course, because we both are doing so many different things, it's turning out to be a every other month thing. But it's really cool, and I'm glad you brought me aboard to that. Like we get couples together, not a whole lot of couples because we like to have the intimacy of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
We get them together in a you pick the cutest place in Midtown. I just am in love with the fact that it's just so cozy, and the little couches that we set up for the partners. We feed you guys, right?
Yep.
We give them liquid to drink, non-alcoholic, because we need you to be focused. And it's a combination of a few things. You usually are very great with coming up with the activities portions, whether that's the maze, communication, and trust maze, and then we do a lot of dialogue and we pick a topic, because one thing that partners seem to have a lot of trouble with, especially when they have conflict issues, is picking an issue or a topic to discuss and working towards a resolution to that, instead of, we're gonna talk about everything that you done did the last 5 years to piss me off, and you ain't listening to me, and now we yelling because nothing is getting done. But I feel like there is so much more that I want to hear from you, and I'm probably gonna get you back again.
I would love to come back. I do want to say this though, before you kick me off, because I know you got something to do. So I want to say that with the couples, what I really found is communication is really the foundation of everything that we see the struggles are, right? We know that there's finances and all infidelity, but at the end of the day, the one thing that spirals out from all of that is the communication piece that is lacking. And there's so much that can come from being able to listen, not listening to respond, but really listening to understand and validating your spouse or your partner, which would solve so many problems. And I think we all oftentimes feel like we know how to do that, and we don't. And I mean that in any type of relationship that you have, whether it's a business partnership or friendship or your spouse, your boo, or whatever, those things you need to have to be able to truly work through any conflict, because conflict is going to occur. And that's what I want people to realize. If at the very minimum, if you can listen to understand and validate, say, I hear you, and then work together to truly come up with a solution. Because oftentimes we talk about things and we talk about things, you might then go have sex, still didn't think about how you gonna figure out this issue, right? So when the issue come back up,
I'm feeling good for the moment, and then
yes,
come back
you don't
up.
do anything, or you talk about stuff and you dismiss, or you are arguments. So we need to make sure that's a component. And I'm hoping that the people that come join us really walk away with those key pieces, and we do some things to practice that.
Right.
So, thank you for having me.
Well, let's say this before you leave. The next couples, you call it a workshop. I don't know why I'd like to say seminar.
It's just seminar series, all of the above.
Our
Is
couples workshop
27th
series, August the 27th, from 12 noon until 2 p.m.
Which seems like we don't ever get out before 3 o'clock, but yes.
And that's a good thing, right? We be having so much fun. We enjoy doing it, and I think that's why the couples love coming so much. But August the 27th from 12 to 2-ish, Memphis, Tennessee, in the Midtown Cooper Young area. I will be providing more details in the comments, including how to register, which will be through Eventbrite. It is $180 per couple, not per person. That secures your time, your space, your ability to eat without having to pay something extra, all of that. And Center to Rise is located. Where is your office? Give us the address and how they can contact you.
All right. So I'm gonna say this. Don't come show up on me. But I'm located in Bartlett. I can't remember the number, 2871 Stage Village Cove, I think is what it is. But we also have the ability to see you virtually. You can find me on Psychology Today. We do have our website, which is centertorise.com. We have a plethora of therapists. So if I'm not the best fit, which I know I'm not for everybody, you can see there's someone that you're interested in, and you can hit us up that way.
And social media sites, where can we find?
Oh, so we can look us up, Center to Rise, on Instagram, Facebook. You can find me as your favorite therapist, or your therapist, Christina.
No therapist.
Your therapist. Your therapist, C. Butler on TikTok. Yeah, that's where I am. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much, Christina.
Thank you for having me.
And I know I'm gonna have to get you back, because we touched on stuff, and I feel like it's some more stuff that could be delved into. But we'll definitely come back, because we'll be together at the seminar, and I'm planning on showing some footage from that. And so,
yes,
I will talk to you soon.
All right, have a good rest of your day.
Bye, you too.